Queen of the Gods. The oldest and possibly the bossiest woman I've ever known was Estelle Manning. You'd think she was Queen of the Gods the way she gave orders. For an 87-year-old lady, she was in reasonably good health. Her main problem was her vision, which was cloudy, preventing her from reading, writing, and watching television. The radio was her daily companion. A church lady visited her once or twice a week, and shortly after I met her in 1974, I began doing her weekly grocery shopping. Maybe I longed for a surrogate granny. Or maybe I was a secret masochist. I could never satisfy that woman. "Your mother never schooled you how to shop right," she would complain. "This cabbage here, look at it. It's too ripe. And look at this meat. You got to tell the butcher you want a lean cut. See all this fat? You got cheated. And another thing, this big jar of instant coffee's way too heavy. What you think I am, a muscle man in the circus? With the arthritis I got in my hands, how you expect me to lift a jar like this? Now, I got to spend all afternoon spooning coffee from that big jar into little jars." This was our weekly ritual. After bawling me out, Mrs. Manning would then forgive my incompetence and fix me lunch. She'd open a cold beer for herself, but since I had to get back to work, I stuck to instant coffee. I'll say this, an 87-year-old lady can get a lot of mileage out of one beer. Before she downed half the can, she'd get to feeling real happy and start telling me stories. Some of her stories were pretty interesting, and I got the idea of doing a photo essay. But the old lady wouldn't pose. No, too old, too ugly," she'd say. Finally, I talked her into letting me copy 2 old photos. One was taken when she was working as a nurse aide during World War I. In the other, taken in the late 1930s, she's walking in downtown Houston near the Rice Hotel. Most of her photos had burned in a 1920s fire, and after age 40, Mrs. Manning didn't like reminders that her youth had passed and avoided being photographed. One photo that had survived the fire was her wedding picture taken in 1903 when she was a 16-year-old bride. I thought it could help sell an article to the features section of the Houston Chronicle. "You want to put my wedding picture in the newspaper?" she asked. "Sure," I said. "I bet the Chronicle would love a story about a turn-of-the-century wedding. I'll split the money with you." "No," she said. "Absolutely, positively, no." "Why not?" "There's lots of people that use public restrooms nowadays," said Mrs. Manning. "What's that got to do with your wedding photo?" "If you'd shut up and listen, I'd tell you." All right, I won't speak another word." "When folks use public restrooms, lots of them plan to stay a while, reading the paper, reading the magazine. Me? I'm in and out. I don't like to linger on a smelly public toilet. But lots of folks, men especially, don't mind the smell. They sit there reading away, then finally, when they finish their business, they reach over and notice the toilet paper's been used up. So what do? Wad up some newspaper, that's what they do. I tell you, my wedding picture's one of the few sacred things I got left. I was a pure D virgin when that picture was taken, and I swear on the Bible, nobody is going to wipe their butt with my wedding picture." What could I say to that? Although her outburst confused me at the time, I later realized that when Mrs. Manning was a girl, outhouses were common. Toilet paper in an outhouse usually consisted of pages torn from a Sears catalog or from a newspaper. I wonder whatever happened to that wedding photo.